To be labelled as a celebrity chef, there are two important ingredients you need. You need to know how to cook, and you'll need an incessant drive to entertain the public. These are two qualities Gordon Ramsay has in spades, but what makes him the best celebrity chef around? What about him has helped maintain his longevity and popularity? Look at all the other famous chefs we have to choose from. You know, what are they lacking that Gordon has? Marco Pierre White has the chefing abilities and the passion, but lacks the energy. Heston Blumenthal has the weird experimentation, but lacks the charisma. Jamie Oliver has the... But you can't deny, Gordon has all the charisma, passion, skill and aggression you need to carry as many cooking shows as he has. But there's a show, or two shows, I want to look at specifically. Those two shows being the UK's Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares and the US's Kitchen Nightmares. Now, if you haven't seen either of these shows, which you definitely have, the premise for both of them is pretty simple. Ramsay turns up at a failing restaurant, eats their food, tells them it tastes like shit, calls the owners delusional, changes the menu, buys them all new kitchen equipment, leaving the restaurant to live on successfully for years to come, or most likely close down months after Gordon leaves. And it's a great premise. It has all the heart and intensity and conflict you could ask from a reality show. And Ramsay's full-on approach elevates every episode. Just imagine if we had Heston or Nigella hosting the shows. It would suck. But the reason I want to look at both of the shows today is because of the massive differences between them. Both have the exact same premise, but executed completely differently. Disregarding which one's better or worse, the contrast between the UK and US versions do say a lot about the way each of us consumes media. But first, let's look at the life of the man responsible for all of it. The blonde, thick, chefy boy himself, Gordon James Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay was born on November the 8th, 1960. I mean, who gives a shit? It was in the mid-80s where Gordon would begin to find his footing in the culinary world. He got his degree in hotel management and worked as a commis chef at the Wickham Arms. After partaking in an affair with the owner's wife and ruining their marriage, that's true, look it up, he would move to London to become an apprentice for hot-headed olive oil drizzler Marco Pierre White. I'll talk more about the ongoing feud between these two later on, but it can't be denied their relationship was a key factor into making Gordon the man he is today.
He remains the only human being, as far as I'm aware, who's ever made Gordon Ramsay cry.
No, I didn't make Gordon Ramsay cry. He made himself cry. That was his choice to cry.
Then in 1999, Gordon would make his television debut in a 5-part miniseries called Boiling Point. The series showcased the first 8 months of Ramsay opening his first restaurant. It was here the public got its first taste of Ramsay's fiery persona and began his road to celebrity status. It was the jumping off point for Ramsay's career, and it made the two shows we're looking at today possible. The full show's been uploaded to YouTube if you have any interest in watching it, and it's not a bad watch. It's interesting to see the intensity that stems from opening a high quality restaurant. Not only that, but compared to Ramsay's later shows that are so over edited, you can tell his outbursts here are driven by pure anger. He's not putting anything on for the camera, he's not screaming creative insults, he's stressed and eager to build his reputation, and anyone who threatens that is getting grilled like a fucking turkey burger. Now, with the public on his side, it was time for Ramsay's next endeavour into the reality TV world. Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares started on Channel 4 in 2004. 5 years on from Boiling Point, long gone were the days of Gordon screaming at chefs and making them cry in his own restaurant. Instead, now screaming at chefs and making them cry in other people's restaurants.
Don't start crying. I'm not. Well, you're about to fucking bubble.
And it's great. Every episode showcases real drama and raw emotions, and of course they do. It's centered around failing businesses, people's livelihood, financial situations and ego are all at risk, and put on display in every episode. And Gordon only helps in accentuating this drama, making it delicious and scrumptious, much like a chef would do. But to give you guys a better idea of how Kitchen Nightmares has developed over the years, let's hop into the first ever episode. Series 1, Episode 1, titled Boner Parties. The episode starts with a short intro to the restaurant and the people's lives we'll be watching crumble and form before our very eyes for the next 58 minutes. This beginning section also has a narration from Gordon, which carries on throughout the entire episode. Later seasons of the US Kitchen Nightmares usually just has some dude narrating, and I feel having Ramsey here instead makes the episode more like an experience, told from one perspective. After the intro, Gordon arrives at the restaurant and meets the owner, Sue Ray. Now, this episode can seem quite jarring to the viewer used to the musical stings and breakneck pacing of the US version. It's slow. It gives the feeling more of a documentary, not really a reality TV show that it would soon be classed as. This version of the show is an apple salesman, standing before you, presenting each apple and arranging them in pristine cardboard apple boxes instead of just a man throwing apples at you. But we'll get there. After meeting with the two chefs, Gordon takes off all his clothes and straight away starts squirting advice into the chef's face.
It's 5 to 6. I want you to get out on the street, go knock on a few doors and invite some locals to dinner. Get your coats on and fuck off for some customers.
Now, this did surprise me when I first saw it. The more episodes of Kitchen Nightmares you watch, the more you know of the same old tricks and tips Gordon throws out to every business.
I just had a phone call. The mayor of Nyack's coming.
The mayor?
Yeah, the mayor.
Oh.
Yeah, great. Great. So he's arriving for dinner tonight.
Wonderful.
Great. Fantastic.
Change the decor, improve the menu, build morale, you stuck-up precious little bitch. And it's rare you see him give some actually good out-of-the-box advice. You want to save this business? Get on your bike and embarrass yourselves in front of the locals. If they're not going to come to your restaurant, then you take them from their homes and force-feed them your bad food until they're sick.
You've just had one.
We'll have another one then! So after witnessing a bad service, Gordon gets the head chef to cook his signature dish. The chef makes scallops for Gordon and ends up giving him a rotten scallop.
Certainly looks okay.
What do you think?
It's got to be sick.
Now, I've seen chefs give this type of reaction before in these types of shows, and every time I do, I always question the legitimacy of the reaction.
We can get some assistance.
Hardly a solid endorsement.
Risotto back.
One lady which became sick in the restaurant.
Come here, you. You taste that. Taste it. It's too salty.
Now, I've never eaten a rotten scallop. I've never eaten a fresh scallop, but I also know it's pretty rare to have this extreme of a reaction when eating some bad food. Is it put on a little bit for the cameras? Maybe not, I don't know. But even if it is, I don't really have a problem with it. There are definitely some moments in the later seasons of Kitchen Nightmares that make me go, But just the over-exaggeration to make a point doesn't really bother me. At the end of the day, this is entertainment, and if watching Gordon dry heave is what the public want, then I say go for it.
Well, I didn't realise they were fucking off. So, I suppose it's my fault, really.
Yeah, probably. The most surprising part of watching this episode, for me, is how invested I got. And investment is a hard thing to accomplish when you have such a slow pace. You're banking on the relatability of the subject. You need to be given enough information on them to truly understand them, which is hard to do with a documentary style show like this. These are real people, you can't just write them however you want. In the case for this episode, we're mainly following Tim and Sue. Tim is a 21-year-old boy who can't cook, but wants to cook. Straight away, we understand his goals and aspirations from the first moment we meet him. And as for Sue, she's 3 months away from going bankrupt, but hasn't told Tim because she doesn't want to add more pressure. Where this show would just later devolve into, I want people to eat at my restaurant. We're given personal and relatable goals and immediately we're invested. We're not watching wanting these people to fail. We can easily laugh and berate and throw tomatoes at the silly fucks from the American version, but when Tim does something like this...
I know what it means. I feel sick myself now.
You just feel bad for the guy. But anyways, I'm not going to go through the whole episode. You know, it's not like Kitchen Nightmares is a deeply layered piece of media with rich substance that you can sink your teeth into, you know. This isn't Joker, but I just wanted to highlight what makes this version of the show so good. This episode alone is able to build a strong relationship between Gordon, the subject, and the viewer. He plays football with them, you know, he breaks their ball sacks a bit, but it's clearly all done with love. Love and passion. You know, the ingredients for any delicious dish requires love and passion. And the same is true for a TV show. Love, passion, hard work, creativity, and perspective. Anyway, now let's look at the American version.
I am shitting myself.
Then you need to wear diapers. You shouldn't be shitting on yourself.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Don't fuck with me.
Shit round the outside. Look at the mess of this place. It's fucking ridiculous. Yeah, I will fuck with you. What the fucking thing you are?
Have you any idea how fucking deluded you sound?
What?
You're calling me a fucking arsehole?
I am.
You stuck-up precious little bitch. Let me tell you something.
Stupid.
Are you fucking stupid?
You French pig! Smell that then.
Smell that! Smell it! Smell it!
Just smell that.
I'm asking for fucking help.
Then wake up!
Is it with your fucking kitchen cleaning, you lazy cunt?
You wake up! Idiot! Fucking come in here and help me! Fucking you're running your jaw! You sitting here like a jerk!
Come out of the way. Come out of the way.
In 2007, ITV America set out to create an American version of the popular UK show Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares. And in keeping with the law of US adaptations, they fucked it up. Now, this is fairly common knowledge. Most people acknowledge the US version is nowhere near as good as the UK version, but why is that? Well, to help answer this question, let's have a quick look at this version of the show's first episode. Season 1, Episode 1, titled Peters. Oh, that's the whole title. What the fuck was that? So straight away we're bombarded with every transition in the effects panel of whatever editing software they used. Lens flares and dip to whites and static whip pans. Whoa! So the main man we'll be focusing on in this episode is the psychotic human potato, Peter.
No one thinks I'm the owner in here. They all think it's my brother because he's the host.
Yeah, maybe don't name the restaurant after him then. So it's pretty clear this show is not about real people. I mean, they are real people, but there's no way anyone can relate or sympathise with these psychos. Peter is a crazy, violent caricature, and the only entertainment we're able to gain out of this is a very base level. As we already saw, the UK version takes its time to build relationships and allows us to understand the goals of the subjects, whereas here it's just loud noises.
It's time for a heart-to-heart with a Pellegrino family.
The way I look at things is everyone needs to have a job to do.
Comes in, tells everyone
My
else to do
role
what he's
is
supposed to be doing.
to oversee what goes on
He knows
You're very hard person to talk to. How can I be a hard person to talk to? That's ridiculous. Tough guy?
Oh, shit.
You made a mistake! Come on! Come on! You made a mistake! I'll hurt you, scumbag! Get it, tough guy!
Compare any two key moments from each version of the show and you'll find they both offer completely different things.
Told him he don't care about the customer. He was sitting and played the computer.
I care about this restaurant.
No, I don't think. He had the computer here. Talk with the computer. Come on.
Okay, there's clearly a bigger picture which is fucked, yeah? But there's
This is what I'm talking about, kid. You've got to cut the fucking bullshit. Why the fuck are you still trying to make out you fucking got something?
She's got people that she kisses ass to and they love her. She's got other people that she gets blunt in her face and hate her. Is it right to just basically go up to the customer and just say, fuck you, get the fuck out of here?
No! I didn't say that! I didn't say fuck you! Don't tell me this bullshit, okay? Say the truth!
That's what you said.
No, I didn't say fuck you! This is what happened.
Do you think we've got nothing
when the damage has been done, we already look like a couple of fucking tits. Yeah? You're already looking like a twat. Yeah? And this guy's too fucking clever for you. So shut your fucking mouth and fucking listen.
I'm just trying to figure out what happened. I mean, I wasn't here. Did she say fuck you? Did she not say fuck you?
I thought she did.
I didn't hear fuck you, no.
Oh, yeah,
I did
What-
not. I
what
was
did you
in-
hear?
She didn't say that. She said that to you. You
No,
forget.
she got
What
into
do
it.
you gotta forget for? You gotta be honest.
I'm being
you want
honest.
this guy to help you or not?
I'm trying to get him to
Well,
help.
then say the way it is.
I am.
No, you're not. You're lying.
I'm not lying. You guys are lying.
You fucking don't sow nothing.
I'm saying to tell me where to go from here, Rich. Because what?
You're not fucking listening to him. He's trying to fucking tell you. I've tried to tell you for 2 years about every fucking thing. Food, bans, and I told you that. But you don't fucking understand. So show him some fucking respect, or else I'm fucking going at 2 o'clock. And that's fucking it. That is it. No fucking bullshit.
Okay.
Fucking dangle me like a fucking puppet. Sorry.
Many argue that the quicker editing in the US version just tells you the same information but at a quicker rate. So, what? It's efficient? Do we need our entertainment to be efficient? Have we really got to that place in society? Imagine that clip from the Boner Parties episode, edited to look like the US version. It just turns into a joke.
That's your signature dish, which is scallops.
What do you think?
He's only gone and given me a rancid scallop.
How can you eat that? Did you not taste that?
Took a while.
But then again, it's hard to say that the US version of Kitchen Nightmares is just bad. I mean, it's definitely dumber, but dumb TV does have a place in our entertainment. And there still are some pretty iconic moments from that version of the show.
Is there anything today that I ate that wasn't microwaved? The salad. You fucking donut. Of course you don't put fucking salad.
It wasn't he.
So is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. But this is nothing new. It's the debate around high versus low art that's been going ever since you could study a Monet painting in the afternoon and then chuck popcorn at a bearded lady in the evening. It's Charlie Kaufman versus Michael Bay. A roasted leg of lamb with mint sauce and honey roasted veg versus a frozen slice of pizza dipped in a jar of mayo. And I, nor no one else, can tell you which one of these you're in the mood for. It could depend on your overall tastes regarding art or even what you're feeling specifically in that moment. I mean, look at me. I've spent this whole video shitting all over the US version of Kitchen Nightmares, but I know which one I'm putting on at 2 AM on a Wednesday night. Not this slow, boring piece of shit, I'll tell you that much. I'm so inconsistent. But does that make this version of the show good? I mean, I'd much rather eat a frozen potato waffle at 2 AM on a Wednesday night than a boring apple, but one of them will definitely kill me quicker than the other. But that doesn't mean I shouldn't keep potato waffles in my fridge, you know? What the fuck am I talking about? But it's not my job to determine which of these shows deserves to exist. Just watching them by yourself, you can clearly see one of them is quick entertainment for dumb people and one is slow entertainment for big-brained chads, and I don't really need to make a video explaining this.
Now I'm feeling like stupid.
But there is an aspect regarding both versions of the show I think is pretty important to talk about. As reality shows devolved over the years, so did the morality and conscience of all the producers and show creators. Every year we hear more and more stories of the producers of X Factor and The Voice taking ownership of the poor singers' souls. Get them there with the hopes of making them a star, but with one small disadvantage. The creators of the show get to own every single piece of content they've ever created. Now, where the same isn't the case for shows like Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares, it still has its fair share of controversies. One of these controversies surrounds what happens to the owners and businesses after the cameras shut off and Ramsay moves on to the next failing restaurant. When starting this video, I was interested to see if there was any correlation between the quality of the shows and the outcome. Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares is definitely the more respectable version of the show, but were they any more effective at resurrecting the dying restaurants than the US version? Well, this is going to take some deep diving. We're going to have to meticulously study each episode, from the first to the final, and get to the bottom of this matter. If we could finally prove the UK version was more effective at this, then that could definitively prove which version of the show is better. But first, let's look back at Sue from that very first episode. That very first restaurant Ramsay set foot into on the mission to revitalise this dying business. Oh, okay, so never mind. So the very first episode of any version of Kitchen Nightmares, and the owner became homeless, bankrupt and in debt months after Ramsay left. Brilliant! Tim's even given up being a chef and he just stays at home, wanking. He's now happy and content without his responsibility. Is that what you're teaching us? Just get rid of all your responsibilities. There's no point having them. Put your life into your business and then become homeless for nothing. Don't worry, Tim. Mummy and Daddy will be alive forever. They'll have a home for you. You don't need responsibilities. Now, this information really cut my research session short. If the very first episode couldn't even help in keeping the restaurant open for more than a couple months, then what hope did we have? And then looking more into it, 22 of the restaurants featured in the show stayed open, with a whopping 83 shutting down. It's kind of embarrassing. But the sad thing about all this is, who cares? If Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares was a real organisation whose goal was to help restaurants avoid closure, then yeah, they'd be failing at the one thing they're meant to be doing, but they're not. Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares is primarily an entertainment program. Their number one goal is to entertain, and their viewers don't give a shit whether the happy ending presented at the end of the episode carries on for the rest of time or even for a couple weeks. The episode has done its job. It's entertained you. Yeah, Sue is homeless, but what do you want from me? If your restaurant is dying, then seek professional help, or maybe just don't open the fucking restaurant in the first place. If I needed real legal help for a murder I may or may not have committed, contacting Judge Judy is going to be last on my list. So yeah, Kitchen Nightmares does a pretty poor job at actually helping people in need, but these aren't the people you should be counting on. And if they are, then it's pretty clear how you got yourself into this pickle in the first place. This show has never presented itself as a true self-help guide for failing restaurants. It's only ever presented itself as a true showcase of the inner workings of a real restaurant. But this brings me on to one of my final points. The mouse. One thing you will always take away from the UK version of Kitchen Nightmares is its realness. I don't know if it's the lack of edits or Ramsay's closer connection to the subjects due to their shared Britishness, but the arguments always seem eerily real. Even when a confrontation doesn't go smoothly or it seems like they're arguing about nothing, they always seem to give us the raw material. And Gordon even has the ability to laugh at himself right after a strange or awkward argument.
You've never cooked a mussel?
Alright, we can shout or you can fucking help, I don't mind.
What do you mean I can help?
Hey?
What have we been doing for the last...
Yeah, okay, fine, you're right, sorry.
What have we been doing for the last 2 hours?
Fine, so what do we want in here?
I'm just amazed you've never cooked a mussel.
I haven't. Don't take the piss out of me for it, though.
Oh, who's taking the piss?
You
Cook a fucking mussel?
You and fucking
yes.
Yeah.
Go on.
Hey?
Go on.
Yeah.
Finish it then.
Finish what?
Okay.
Right.
So shall I show you how to cook a mussel?
Oh, at last, thank you. Yes, please.
Right. Are you going to tone your voice down or are you going to shout like some dick?
I'll shout like some dick and then I'll calm down.
Right.
Now I've shouted,
why don't you fuck off to the bookshop, read how to cook a mussel and come back and see me?
Yeah, okay.
And I'll run your fucking restaurant.
Thank you.
Plonker.
Twat.
Fucking hell, what's all that about? Jesus Christ, well at least we broke the ice now anyway.
This is never the case with the US version. It's so glorified and dramatised, they're more willing to play around with the footage to hit the emotional and confrontational beats, even when it results in the argument feeling fake.
Give me that fucking food. I want to send out. I want to send the fucking food out.
Stan, you're excited right now. You're
Leave me alone, man. They'll talk to me later.
Get out!
Okay, I can't deal with you. Jesus Christ.
Stop him. Stop it out. Michael, stop it.
Ah, no way.
But to many, that's as far as the fakeness of this show goes. The average person can recognise when a confrontation seems a little over-edited or not completely genuine, but it's usually accepted the bulk of what we're seeing is real. I even went a step further and read many articles from regular people brought in during the dinner scenes who testify what you see on screen is mostly genuine, give or take a producer or two telling a member of the public to say something they can later use in editing. But throughout every episode of Kitchen Nightmares, nothing has seemed more fake, more staged, more just like a blatant lie than the dead mouse. Series 5 Episode 1 of US Kitchen Nightmares sees Gordon visiting soul food restaurant Blackberries. After a pretty poor lunch service, Gordon is met with a surprisingly delicious pudding consisting of red velvet cake, and even sparked this little memey gem from Gordon.
Finally, some good fucking food.
So not too bad, could have been a lot worse. Gordon returns the next day happy as ever, but what he sees next will change your fucking life. A dead mouse, right next to the door. A dead mouse who, presumably after spending hours pushing the heavy door to get that delicious cheese hiding in the kitchen, had a small mouse heart attack and died in the corner of the doorway. But luckily his death didn't go unnoticed. As Gordon commenced his routine corner of the doorway checks upon entrance, his eyes glanced onto the dead rodent like fucking Poirot. Now just watch the confrontation that takes place after he finds the mouse. Ramsey is so defensive and not confident like he was earlier.
The mouse, just by the front door.
Huh?
It's by the door.
Okay, that's not funny.
I've got an incinerator outside. Can you take that? No? As a general manager, do something with it.
A mouse?
It was in the entrance as I walked in, on the left-hand side.
Mouse?
Can you show me where you found that at? It was at the front door. Like where? Oh, well, where's the front door in your mind? I came in the door, walked in there, saw him, bang, right there. Right here. Do you have it on film? Are you kidding me? What, you thought I brought it in out of my pocket? Yeah, I think you did. Are you, smell that! Smell it!
Yeah, it smells like bullshit to me. And the mouse discussion doesn't stop there. It takes an apology to stop Gordon from leaving after they kept accusing him of planting the mouse. Now, of course, I have no proof for this, you know, and there doesn't seem to be another instance of something like this happening throughout the show, but you've got to admit it's pretty sketchy. The placement of the mouse, Gordon's weird behaviour, defending the finding of the mouse, it's all a bit dodgy. But through all the differences in focal points and editing and craziness, there's always been one cog in the Kitchen Nightmares machine that stayed consistent. I'd say that the two grandfathers of the TV chef world have been Gordon Ramsay and Marco Pierre White, which makes sense. White trained Ramsay, he taught him everything he knows. So where are all the Marco shows? I mean, they exist, but not to the same degree as Gordon, so why is that? Well, I have a theory. The reason for Marco not progressing to the same heights as Ramsay is because of his weirdness.
Take a little garlic. We could be professional, take the core out. But I'm a home cook now, not a professional cook.
Marco Pierre White is a weird man. His time on MasterChef and his YouTube videos where he adds stock pots after stock pots, his incessant need to tell everyone his mother is Italian, his creepy slow talking and intense stare, his way of talking that seems to communicate he believes that what he's saying is the literal word of God. He's a very odd man. And Gordon Ramsay's a normal man. You know, you can have a beer with Ramsay. He rarely has an awkward moment in his public appearances and interviews, and you know what? We're lucky to have him. We're lucky to have someone fill the role of celebrity chef to such a perfect degree as Ramsay. He's given us meme after meme, memory after memory, and no one could fill his shoes. No matter how many times he gets a little too angry or completely fucks up at making a cheese toasty. The cheese hasn't melted! The UK version of Kitchen Nightmares has done a great job of showing us the more emotional side of Ramsay. The guy has range. He's not getting any younger, but even a random video of him cooking a meal in 8 minutes can get me pumped. But that's the point of this video. Cherish Ramsay. Cherish all he's given us throughout the years and appreciate what he's still able to give us now. Because he's going to be a tough act to follow.
You get fucking rough.
Do you think I'm scared? Huh? Look at you.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
You have to show off.
I'm... How bloody fucking
Don't
dare
be stupid. Don't be so stupid.
Sauce!
This is the lamb
Where's the lamb sauce? Fucking donkey!
Fuck the cameras.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We can step
I'm
outside.
standing here.
I can't help people
I asked you one simple question.
that can't help themselves and cannot ever take 1 ounce of criticism.
And you couldn't fucking answer me. And then you want to get all tough and up close and personal.
I'm not going to butt heads, argue, scream, whatever you want to say. You have the right to run the business the way you want to run your business. I have the right.
You've got no respect.
No respect.
Now get out.
To do the right thing.
Shit, I'm getting good.
You're unbelievable.
Especially today. Ramsay, I love your delicate ways.